Hey gang, welcome back to Jade's Garage. Today is the day. I'm pretty excited. I am going to put paint on the 68 Mustang that everyone has known as Jade. This has been a long journey. I've had this car a long time. How long have I had this car? It's been like, I don't know, 10 years? I don't even know. But I've had this car a long time. If you've been following along, you already know that I have replaced floor pans, torque boxes, quarter panels, tail panel, front aprons, core support, converted the car to power steering, power brakes. I'm installing vintage air into this car, even though it was an original AC car, so I'm putting in vintage air. So much stuff has been done to this car. New suspension up front, rebuilt the rear end. Of course, the engine is a 302, transmission's been rebuilt, engine's built, all that stuff. And it is now coming to the point where I can get paint on this car. I'm going to go over some details before I get to that. I'm also going to tell you right now that I'm not going to show you how to mix paint. Not in this video. I'm not going to show you how to mix clear coat. Not in this video. I'm going to focus on getting this car in paint, and that's all I'm worried about. So a lot of this video is probably going to be time-lapse. I have made several time-lapse sequences of this process. I've also done so much preparation work for this to happen that I'm not gonna let that interrupt my schedule by mixing stuff up and showing you all that process. So if you like, or need to see that stuff, I've done that in other videos. This one, the focus is getting the car in paint and getting that done. So, I'm excited. I really am. The temperature is a little cool right now. It's gonna warm up throughout the day. I do have the heater running in the front shop so that, this can get some heat back in here. You're gonna see, the time-lapse videos. Like I said, I have preparation work on the car. I have preparation on the booth, a variety of things. So you'll see that as I go through this. And a lot of this I'll have to just kind of edit and make it look presentable, But this video, again, I will probably shoot time-lapse of the process, and that'll just, you have to just watch it and see how it goes. But to say I'm excited about this is an understatement. There's been so much going on in the past year or years. There's probably been problems with the other builds, and this car's been put on hold or pushed aside for so long. It's got to get paint on it today, and I'm really looking forward to that. So let me show you some details and some stuff I have planned, and we'll go on from there. Okay, so I have, showed the sequence of masking before. I'm just going to show you what I've done to this car. I've decided that I'm going to mask off the interior. The reason for that is I'm going to spray this car with the doors on, and I need to be able to have access to the jambs and stuff like that. So when the door swings open, I can get behind the door and spray it, and that's why I took off the steering wheel, took out the seat, cleaned out everything on the inside. I've masked off the dash, the whole floor, the back seat area, the headliner, everything is masked. So that's the plan, or that's what's going on with that part of the car. Up front here, I have masked this with plastic. So everything is, taped off the way it should be. I've also laid paper up here just because I don't want, and just in case the plastic wanted to flutter when I was spraying. So I just added some paper, not going to hurt anything. You can see these hash marks. The plan is I will have the fenders on the car and the extensions, and I'll show you that in just a second. But I need to have them bolted on the car. So these are locations where the bolts will go so that the fenders can stay in place. Prior to putting the fenders on, I'm going to spray this area, spray this side of the jam, spray this part of the rocker, and get all that in color. You know, of course I'll get up here around the cowl and that sort of thing. The extensions, well, I'll show you that, but the extensions will be placed on the fenders and hold those in place as I, get ready. Everything is taped up. I've removed the quarter windows. If you haven't seen the video on that, I decided to pull those out because I was having problems with this one operating. And now I've taped off the channel so that I can eliminate any kind of dust or debris getting in place. The quarters, I backmasked with tape, some green tape. There you can see it is on the back side of the flange. And then I papered everything else so that I don't get stuff flying through the air. Of course, the package shelf and all that is masked off. In the back, again, taped off that area, backmasked with tape on the flange, and then put the paper against it. Taillight openings, gas cap. Same thing on the other side, obviously. So everything is ready to go as far as that part of the car. In the back here, I don't have the trunk taped off yet. I say yet. The plan is I'm going to be mounting the extensions. So it's all thread, about 3 inches. You run a nut down, put a washer on that nut, insert these into the panel, put a washer on the inside, run another nut down, and now you have a gap. So I can't put these on yet until I spray color. I want to make sure I have some color on here, and then I'll put those on, and then I'm going to paper off this area of the trunk because I don't want anything blowing out of this. If you'll notice, I decided, you've probably seen other videos, I've taken a block of wood and put over the hinge and held it underneath the flange here to keep it out of the way. Well, I thought, you know what? I've got this mount point here for the bumper bracket. So I just put a coupler or a strap on it, pulled it down, and those will be out of the way, and that'll be great. Fenders. Fenders will be on the car when I spray. They'll probably come back off when I do clear coat, and they'll get sprayed back here for clear coat. If you'll notice, I have the extensions sitting in place. What I did is I took some carriage bolts that were like 6 inches long, and I cut them off, cut the heads off. So now, this is hard to do with one hand. Now I can move these in and out and get it a nice gap, but this will get paint on this area prior to. So I know I have that wedged in there. So it'll look more like this. And the idea being when I spray in color, I can get it all the way around, and in clear coat, I can get it all the way around and not have a web or a connection there. So fenders, good to go. As far as the booth, and I have time lapse on this. Maybe I'll run that time lapse while I'm talking right now, but I have taken a pad and I wiped down the entire wall, all the walls, the ceiling, blown this place out many times, and eliminated a lot of the stuff that has accumulated in here. Everything is out of here. Also, I've added this light in the back, so it'll give me some more light, and I have more lights that I will put down on the floor. They'll be down here at an angle, same lights, so that'll help light up the side of the car more. One of the things that I had concerns about were these fans. I've noticed in the past when I sprayed other stuff that I was having debris kick back in here in this opening. So last night I went and I made cardboard blocks so that everything is blocked off now, and then I blocked off the upper section of the fan because when the window is open, the window only goes up so high, and so it was hitting that and then blowing stuff around. I'm eliminating all that. This fan over here I had problems with. I didn't realize that this fan was broken until last night, and so when I was running it, the whole thing was shaking. Well, I bought another fan. So I'm going to put that fan up in place. Same thing, I've already blocked off the perimeter, and that's going to help with junk flying through the air. Like I said, most of this video is probably going to be time lapse. And I'm not going to, I'm not going to mix paint and not show you all that stuff. I'm just going to spray it and make it happen. So stay tuned and wish me luck. Okay, give you a quick look. I have the extensions in place. I have sprayed the jam for the door and the inside of the fender where it overlaps at the cowl. Can't show you the inside of it, but I sprayed all that area inside there, all the way up on top. Got all this masked off. I show you this. I'll show you this. I added some paper underneath here just in case. Now what I'm going to do, oh, and I got the extensions on, of course. But now I'm going to spray the floor down with some water from like a garden sprayer, and get ready for final paint. This is where I'm at. The car is in base coat, and that's where I'm stopping for today. I had a few problems, and I was concerned that I would not be able to spray clear. To tell you what's going on, let's just say I made some errors when I was working on this car. Hard to believe, I know, but I had a couple areas, like right here, for example, where I had touched up the primer, and it ended up having an edge, and you could not, you could see it. You could just see it through the base. And that was one area. There was another area up here towards the front on this fender. Again, I touched it up, and there was like a fuzzy kind of line that ran right like that. Now, I can still just barely see it. I can, but I know where it was. So what I had to do, I was really concerned that it was just going to, keep showing up. So I sanded the car. I went over it with 1200 wet, and I hit those areas that I felt like, were going to be an issue. And so I did that, and then I resprayed it. And I also kind of dry sprayed. And what that means is I didn't I did a complete wet spray, and then the dry spray I just kind of fog over it and let the paint kind of cling to it in a sense. And what that does is it creates kind of a build that allows for hiding of things, and that it worked. I mean, there's areas that I know where they're at that would probably still drive me crazy, but for the most part, I'm happy with it. Tomorrow I will clear coat it, and I can tell you, I'm looking in the camera, and it says the camera shows blue. This is not blue. It is definitely green or aqua colored. I don't know why it's coming up as blue, and I don't know how to change anything to make it look better. Maybe when I make this video, I can try to edit the film itself in certain segments to try to show you the actual color, but trust me, this is more green, but again, at this point I'm happy with it. I'm going to let it sit overnight, and then I'll come back tomorrow and clear coat it. Now you have 24 hours from last application, so I have plenty of time to come in tomorrow and spray it with clear, and then we'll take another look at it. But at this point, I'm pretty happy with how this looks. Okay, I've wiped down the car with a tack cloth, made sure all the dust is off of it. Things are looking pretty good. I took the front fenders off and placed them on a stand. I'm going to clear coat those independent of the car, but all at the same time. But by doing it this way, I am able to clear coat all the edges and get all the way around inside the door, the front edge of the door and all that stuff. So next step, obviously, is clear coat. Fingers crossed. And there she is. Trust me, it's not blue. Turned out really nice. That door won't stay in, so pulled all the tape Pretty excited. Pretty excited. Now I did find, there's a couple things I'll have to address. What I'm really most pleased about is the very tiny amount of trash. I mean, no bugs. You can kind of see there's little tiny, just a little tiny bit here and there. I ended up with a sag in the clear coat right there. You can probably see it with the light reflecting. And that's okay. It means I got enough on it. But that'll be an easy area to fix. Of course, it will get sanded and buffed. But yeah, really happy with how it's looking. Compared to the hood and the deck lid and all that trash that I got in those pieces, all this looks fantastic. I mean, I can't complain, especially for being in basically a homemade paint booth, you know. It's all looking good. Okay, let me tell you, I am so excited right now. This has been a long time coming. So much work has been done to this car, as I mentioned previously. So many times this car has taken a back burner to other projects that have taken up time. And, I'm very happy that I decided, you know what, I'm going to finish this car. I'm going to get it in paint, get it ready to go, and make it right. So, there's still things to do, obviously. Now, we'll say this is the biggest hurdle right now. This was the biggest thing that needed to happen for me to progress forward. I'm still going to have to color sand and buff this, even though it's not going to take much, I still have to do that. I did bring in the valance panel, compared it to the paint on the car, and it matched. It looked great. So I'm thinking I'm okay with the deck lid and the hood, except for those need color sanded and buffed as well. Now, there's a lot of things that need to happen from this point forward. To properly do this, what I need to do is start with something simple like the door latches. Because when you're buffing on a car, well, you can't have that door bouncing in and out of the door jamb, right? So I'm going to have to clean up the door latches, get the strikers in place, that sort of thing. Maybe even put the glass in. I don't know yet. I'm not really thinking very far ahead. I'm just thinking about the buffing process. But hey, you know what? I'll get to it. I will get to it. This has just been such a relief off my shoulders, off my back. All this time, and I stress over painting. Much as I tell everybody test fit, all that sort of thing. And this proves why you do those sort of things right here. This proves that. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching. I especially want to thank my patrons. They've been supporting me over the last year or so and contributing to the cause. And that has really taken some of the stress off of me as well, knowing that I have that kind of support from people. I put out a lot of information. I try to share as much as I can. And, when people reward me basically with donations to the cause, that makes things better for me and honestly for you as well. So if you're interested in becoming a patron, there's a link in the description below. Also, I have products available on Amazon. There's a link in the description below. If you buy something off of Amazon, I get a little percentage of that. That also helps. So every little bit helps as well. Obviously, there's still, there's t-shirts available on Teespring, stuff like that, mugs and different things. If you're interested, follow the links down below. But again, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I look forward to sharing a video with you soon. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. But until that time, take care of yourselves. See ya. Okay, that'll be the end of this video. But let me just tell you that I am very happy, very excited, and I'm looking forward to getting a lot more done on this car. This has been a long road. Those of you